This conference will now be recorded.
Okay. Hey guys. So today I decided to make a video on some of the challenging tasks that we generally face in real time. I thought this should be useful for the people who are attending PEGA interviews and who don't have actual real time experience, right? So because the interviewer tries to figure out whether you are a real time person or not by asking some questions like, can you tell me about your work structure, or where do you store your requirements, where do you store your defects, what are the tools you use, or any challenging tasks that you have encountered, or what recent use case you have worked. These are some of the questions people try to figure out whether you are just a trained person or you have already worked in some real time projects, right? So today I would like to focus on the question, can you tell me about the challenging tasks that you have encountered in your career? Okay. So one question I want to take up in each video. So let's say, for example, this question comes to you. Okay. So you can say that, I had a requirement where the person enters the insurance number, or the person enters the employee ID, or depending upon what project you kept in your resume, take some number, maybe like card number, maybe account number, maybe policy ID. Just tell them that the person is entering so and so number in my project, and according to the requirement, I'm supposed to validate the pattern of that number. Let's say if it is employee ID, according to the company policy, employee ID is always, first three characters are like, text, followed by that number, followed by that something else. That is the pattern in my company. Or you can say, according to the company, the policy number is first three characters are like should start with only, 0 to 9 numbers. Next three characters are like alphabets, only lowercase alphabets. After that, again, number. After that, uppercase. You can just cook a story like that, and you can tell that, I had a requirement where I had to do a pattern check like this in my company. So it was little difficult for me, and you can just tell how did you implement it. So taking that example, I'm going to show you how to do a pattern check for Aadhar card. Okay, so same thing you can do for whatever it is, like policy ID, insurance number, PAN number, employee ID, whatever it is. Okay, you can just do that. Or maybe in your company the work object ID has a pattern, it was like alphabet, numbers and date, something something combination, so I had to do that thing. So the same logic you are going to write, and you can just tell them this is how I have done it. So I took an Aadhar property. Okay, and I have written my own validation rule for that. So if you even Google it, you will find the regex for Aadhar. But regex for your policy number, your employee ID, your insurance number will not be found in Google, right? So you have to form your regex. So how do you form a regex? See, let's say Aadhar number, generally it always starts with 229. You will never have zeros and ones in the beginning. So what you have to do is 229 is the first number in the Aadhar. So 1 means first character is 229. After that, the next three characters can be anything between 0 to 9. So anything between 0 to 9. In Aadhar, generally we have a pattern. We give four numbers, space, four numbers, space, four numbers. So slash s is space. Again, next four characters can be anything between 0 to 9. Again, space. Next four characters can be anything between 0 to 9. So first character 2 to 9, next three 0 to 9, next four 0 to 9, next four 0 to 9, in between spaces. So like this we generally write regex, and this indicates the beginning, and this dollar indicates the ending. So you can write down your own regex. Okay, if it is an employee number or policy number, whatever it is, you can write down based on this. You can do it. Now, after that, what you do, you have to store this pattern. So we store this pattern like this. Now, whatever value is entered by the user, you have to check it is not null. See, what if it is null? If he is an null value and he clicks on submit, why are you validating it? There's no point in validating a null value, right? So we check whether it is null, and if we trim it and we still find it null, we come out of the logic. It returns false. If it is not null, then we try to evaluate it. So if it is not null, we just try to check the value. The value means whatever is the value entered by the user. So the value, we are comparing it with this pattern. Okay. So we compare it with the pattern. If it is matching, so you can see if m dot matches, if it is matching, we return true. What if it is not matching? Else, you can give your custom error message like this. Generally, you might have seen that, whenever you're using any edit validate rule, Pega throws its own OOTB messages. Now, where are those messages coming from? They come from a field value called as PY message label. So Pega has a field value. Okay? So generally from these things, Pega displays those OOTB messages, invalid date, invalid email ID, and all those things. So instead of customizing the field value, you can write down your own message like this, or you can even customize the field value in your class. But rather than that, it's better to write down a message like this. Okay, you can write it down, and that's it. You can validate your Aadhar. So same example, you can tell for if they ask you any question like any real time challenges you have faced, just tell them you have to design a pattern like this. You have to write some piece of Java code, and you have to throw some custom message like this. I hope this helps.
This conference will now be recorded.
If you want the Java code which I have written here in a text file, please see the description below the video.